Disclaimer: this episode was recorded way back in July 2023. Yes, it's taken Horns Up that long to get this out. Now, let's begin.
Hey, welcome to Horns Up. Yes, oh my god, can you feel that energy? This is the energy that can only happen from in-person recordings, which means I've got Peter. Hi, you're in front of me today.
What's up?
Even when we record actually via Zoom, you're still in front of me only technically, but this is different.
Yeah, that's true.
But how does it feel holding a mic in your hand? Fuck, you do that in any ways, no? Yeah. Shit, sorry. All my attempts at bringing a discernible difference between online recording and offline recording have gone to shit.
No, but it's fun. I mean, like, we get to do this and get to actually see how intense the discussion will get.
Yeah,
because
it is an all A's episode. That means we need a third. And who better than our original third for all A's, Mr. Anurag Tagat. Welcome back. You're also in person in Bombay. How the fuck did that happen?
Hey, Animesh. Hey, Peter. Yeah, I'm here to for my nephew's first birthday, and also for a Bhayanak Maut gig.
Damn.
And we managed to buy some time. Not buy some time. Let me rephrase that. We didn't buy any time. He's here at his own accord. We just requested, right? But it's a very packed schedule, and we managed to get him here, and that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to be here again. Great to be in the same room as you guys again. Yeah.
Fucking awesome. Alrighty. So all A's. This time, fuck the debates, fuck the haters. Yes, we are discussing Tool's very first album, Undertow. Is it an all A's album? We don't know. We'll find out. Let's just get into it. Yeah. First question, but just to soften the landing, I'm assuming all of you heard the album because we are doing this all A's, right? How long has it been since this revisit for you for Undertow?
I don't know. I don't think it's been that long. It might have been like 6 months or so. I guess for me, I have the album on CD, so that was just going through my CD collection and felt like putting on some stuff. Putting on, I guess, like there was probably like a whole week where I was just playing Tool back to back kind of thing. So yeah, I think it came up there. Then on streaming, I'm sure the time before that was probably when I was streaming the whole discography, when Tool's discography in fact turned up on all streaming services, right? Okay,
so you do revisit the album frequently still?
I guess if you feel like once every 6 months or to a year in that span is like a good sort of like often kind of measure, then yes.
Okay. Peter, what about you?
I mean, I also, and I'm glad I'm not in the minority when Anurag said that he owns it on CD, because I actually own the album on CD thanks to a discount store in Abu Dhabi. So I picked up.
I own it on CD too. Yeah. Was this your first re-listen in a long time, or?
Tracked the whole album, yes. And thanks to the number of times we've done Fear Inoculum or brought up Fear Inoculum, I think the algorithm on Spotify is trained. So ever so often it'll throw a Tool track my way.
Okay.
And I'll kind of talk about it there. But
okay.
Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm fairly familiar with some of the songs.
Okay. So for me, this was a big revisit because I don't think I've listened to Undertow in entirety ever since my first getting into Tool phase. Yeah, so it was a nice re-listen to me because now I'm so familiar with the band as such that it kind of puts some of these songs into a better perspective. So we're talking Undertow. Let's just get into the songs. There are 8 songs. No, sorry. There are technically 69 songs on the album. And all of us, because we own the CDs, we know that. Right? But technically there are only 10. There are technically 69 songs on the album, but officially or whatever, there are only 10 pieces of music. So let's get into it. Are these songs A's? Is the album an all A? Let's find out. Let's begin with the first song, Intolerance. It's a straight up A for me. Considering that this is the first song you hear from a band, and I'm trying to go back into that kind of a context. It's 1993. You've just discovered or you've just purchased the CD. It's got a little bit of buzz around it. It's the era or the dawn of alternative metal as such. You put it in and you're slammed with a really good energetic riff, and then you discover the voice, and then you discover the nice bass. It does pretty well for an opening track. It's a solid A from my side on Intolerance. Peter?
It kind of also sets the tone for the rest of the album in there, in terms of, hey, this is what you should expect. So that's why it's a solid A from an opening track. Again, we've all done dissections of Tool in the past, so go for it, Anurag.
Good reference there with dissection.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. Like what you were saying, Animesh, about like, alternative metal, like it was also, the grunge era of like, like rock music. So I feel like where this came in was, I still feel like I hear it in some of those contexts as well. And where it came out was that, yeah, it clearly made a fan out of everyone. I feel if they were hearing this first track alone, I think they would be hooked to the rest of it. So it's an A from me as well.
Alrighty. Cool. So we're starting off with a good hat trick of A's for Intolerance. Let's move on to song number 2, which is Prison Sex. Comes in just under 5 minutes. For me, this one is a clear A+, because I think this is the first song that shows you Tool's uniqueness. Also, I love the fact that Prison Sex, unlike other songs unlike most songs which have a slowish first half and an energetic second half, this one just redoes that formula. It has a very strong first half, and then it slows it down so well and becomes very doomy, etc. And of course, the lyrics over here is something that to me really made me think of or puts the context of making Tool unique. And if you've seen the video, then that does an even better job of just saying that, okay, Tool is not your average band. There's something different about them. For me, this one's a straight up A+. Anurag?
Yeah, 100%. What you were saying about like unique, I think this was probably the second Tool song I'd ever heard, and it was with the music video basically on TV. And, like it was unique to the point that I didn't get it basically. So, but like over time, obviously, wherever I've heard everything that Tool has made, and also finally getting to hear it in the context of the album, which is, I guess, what we're talking about here. Like it definitely made like so much more sense in terms of just understanding what Tool were about. Or maybe like not understanding what Tool were about, but going with it anyway. So yeah,
exactly, you just go with it. It actually, the song kind of forces you to go with it, right? It's that overpowering, which is a good thing in this context.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, that's an A+ for me.
Okay.
Likewise, I mean, like I think it's easily one of those most popular Tool songs. Everyone kind of knows of it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's one of the hits as such in their entire discography.
Yeah, and it's also one of those songs, I think, like,
especially because it was one of the singles. It does have a video.
Yeah. And also the whole thing about Tool, I feel, and I think you and I have discussed this animation in the past, is it's one of those like literally treasures for Reddit. You'll always find some reference. You're like, oh, like literally when I was doing research and looking up some of the stuff, I'm like, okay. And then I'm the guy who loves reading the lyrics, right? So you just go into the lyrics and you're like, oh wait, this is what you think they're saying.
Yeah.
And it just does that to you, right? Which in a way, like, and I'm going to say this and I'm prefacing this, it's a good head fuck. You're just like, what the fuck did I just listen to, right? So yeah, so I think all across the board,
A+. Superb. Let's get into the third track, which I'm guessing is the biggest song from this particular album.
Easy,
no question about it, right?
Yeah.
Sober, 5 minutes 7 seconds. Peter, what are you rating it?
A+.
A+.
I mean, like, and purely now this is where I have to go into the lyrics, right? Where literally everyone, once it comes to the chorus, is singing along, why can't we be, can we not be sober, right? Everyone's kind of, it kind of pulls you in. And this is what you were talking about.
If I genuinely believe that if Sober got the kind of, or if this album got the kind of weightage that say perhaps Linkin Park got, everyone's MSN Messenger status would be something from Sober.
Yeah.
Instead of something from Numb.
Yeah.
Or Faint or whatever.
Fair. I mean, like, and also I think going to what you're saying, right? It also got caught up in this time where we've discussed this on metal or not. Is it metal? Is it not? You had that whole polarizing thing around. It got lumped into the alt rock. But yeah, when you look at it so many years later when we're talking about it, it adds a lot what you're saying. I mean, I even love that entire build up in the last minute before
Correct,
the chorus.
yeah.
That part is just like, I mean, I'm wondering why this was not the single, or again, did Tool have a say or not have a say?
But Sober does have a video, right?
So it does have a video. Also,
Yeah.
it was released
Sober
as a
was
single,
definitely
but
a
like,
single.
yeah, I guess it wasn't the single.
These.
Yeah, it wasn't the single. Also, it's just like obligatory Metallica reference. It's one of the first songs that you can actually start playing or toying around with on guitar because it's just one chord. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So wait, Peter, you gave it an A plus.
Yeah.
Anurag.
Yeah, it's definitely an A plus. It was the first Tool song I ever heard. It was on the radio, in fact. So it was on one of the world space radio
Wow.
things. So yeah, and it was just so it was just so incredible to I still remember, like you wouldn't forget like hearing a song like this basically in any sort of like setting, I feel. And at the same time, I think anybody who had maybe heard like any Tool song, if they had heard Sober like much later, I think they would still know that it's a Tool song. So I think that's one of the really incredible qualities about the band, that like no matter in what order you hear their stuff, like you still know it's them. And yeah, like this was one of those songs that it was definitely my status on chat messengers. So yeah.
Yeah. Same here. Like not a status on chat messengers, but definitely one of the obscure blog posts, etc. that we would do on our blog spots. Fuck. But yeah, I'm giving it an A plus as
Nostalgia
well.
all around. I can
Nostalgia
see.
all around. Cool. So let's get into song number 4, which is Bottom. I mean, one of the longer songs on this album, 7 minutes 14 seconds in. Anurag, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it was definitely one of those where like again, like I probably heard Bottom the first time in the context of the album and hearing the whole thing, and then like fully getting that, okay, like this is what Tool is about, this specifically, this is what Maynard is about, for example. So I think knowing all those things going into it, reading the lyrics, or just seeing like how much they really like taking the mickey out of things was quite it was quite enlightening in a way. Like I don't think many bands were that like unserious, if that's a word. Like they just weren't so serious about things from time to time, but then they got really intense at other times. So seeing that whole contrast was quite something, like across all Tool albums, but specifically like this album, and specifically Bottom also a little bit. So like I really liked it, man. Like I mean, it has like that little bit of like a funky thing going on as well.
Yep.
I feel, which was again something that Tool technically only did on their first album. I feel, but yeah, which makes it even more like valuable that way. So yeah, it's an A from me.
Okay. The song itself, I've rated it as an A. I didn't particularly enjoy the song. I definitely remember not enjoying the song on my original listens with the album, because Sober ends so beautifully that you don't want Bottom to start in the way it starts, right? So and also then because of the spoken word bit, etc., kind of the energy kind of drops down. But on my re-listen, I ended up enjoying it far more, because now I have the context of what the band is like and how, etc., what all they've done, etc. To me, this seems like a complete product of its times. I don't think Tool would ever do this kind of a song, or has done this kind of a song. It's so like, after listening to the Maynard's collab on the first Rage Against the Machine album, I don't know if this is okay to link the two, but to me, like there's some sort of an influence happening over there on Bottom. And maybe that's why I enjoy it more these days too. But yeah, so for me, it's an A. It's not an A plus. It's not as good a track as the previous two were, but it's not a bad track. It's an A for me. Peter, what about you?
I'm putting it an A, but
Okay.
conditional to the track being trimmed down, right? And this is one of those things, like, again, it's also probably me today. Like, if it was me, like, listening to the album like 15 years ago, I'm like, oh, cool, this is interesting and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
at some
I skipped
point,
the song a lot.
yeah, I'm just like, I mean, like, at this point also, since I know how to edit, I can probably cut down some of my parts that I don't enjoy. But like, I go back to what you're saying, right? Like, just seeing the uniqueness of the fact that this is not being replicated. Again, when you go back to the story of how again Henry Rollins kind of came as part of the track as using a gambling thing. So it's all those kind of things that you find again. This is stuff you find on the internet, right?
Yeah.
Maybe like urban legend. Or,
Yeah, when you start becoming a tool nerd. Yeah. Fuck those days.
there you go, right? Reddit again.
Exactly.
But I'm saying like I'd put it as an A basis how I'd have the track. But again, when you put it as the context of the entire album, this somewhere comes in the middle, kind of sets you up again. So makes sense that way, right?
Okay, cool. So far, Tool's doing really well. 4 songs in, everything is an all A so far, which is good. Let's see if that continues with song number 5, which is Crawl Away. Peter.
A again, and primarily for me, that entire section of "This Is Love" kind of thing, that is for me, like that entire bridge is the highlight of the song. Right? And I think if I go back, there'll always be these certain sections of Tool songs that I'll really enjoy. I mean, I don't know. Again, I said edit. I can kind of make a compilation.
But think of it as a hook, right? Like it's probably something that's just hooking you back to be like, oh, which song is that? Or like, but even when you go back to play it, it's not like you just fast forward to that part. No, so
and it also kind of builds. It's that entire energy, that pull and push kind of thing that you've got, right? With the thing. So yeah, that's a solid A for me.
Okay, Anurag.
Yeah, it's an A from me as well. I think exactly what Peter is saying. Like one of the ways that I remembered this song was because like it had some part, I don't remember now, but it had some part that definitely made me think, oh, which song was that? And then like I went back to it, I listened to the whole album, and then I was like, okay, it is this song. And that was quite a surprise for me in terms of, I guess maybe I'd ignored it a few times before. And now it came across as it's just subconsciously, like it just digs in, and what I think you guys were talking about before about how like read into lyrics or you read into meanings and things like that, and in a way like every Tool song feels like a deep dive.
You can deep dive into it.
Yeah, there's like multiple layers to peel back. There's multiple fan theories. There's multiple things that maybe even the band has said or rather not said about each song. So that's what makes it great. And I think that's how I came back to Crawl Away once. So yeah.
Okay, so an A from you, an A from Peter. I've pegged this down as a B plus.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry for that, but it's primarily because it's not very memorable. I don't find the song, like I don't find myself being enamored by it, or after I'm done listening to the album. While the album's playing on, it's a great, it doesn't really make you sit back and take notice of it as much as the other songs do. So, and also it's because of when this album was made, the 90s hard grunge era, you have acts like Alice in Chains doing similar sounding
I agree.
stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me it's a B plus. Yeah,
Sure.
it doesn't affect this album's all A credentials because at the moment the majority is still an A. So maybe it's still in the running. Let's see what happens on song number 6, Swamp Song. I wish there was some magical way, maybe because now AI exists and we can get like vocals changed, etc. I would have loved to hear Cornell sing this song because it sounds so Soundgardenish to me.
Sure. Yeah. It just sounds so eerie and so like
It's the most non-Tool song on this album for me.
Sorry, I have to also add this for me, considering the rains in Bombay, is a Bombay rain song. Like literally when it's like you're wading knee deep and going in, I was like, holy fuck, just look all around right now in Bombay. This is exactly that song. Okay. Now we can get serious. Sorry, I had to throw that in.
Cool. Even with that perspective, I never thought of it that way. I never connected it. But yeah, I completely buy where you're coming from. But because of that reason, I've got this as a B plus.
I mean, I enjoy it. And I think, like, again, I'm prefacing it. I think towards this is where my entire part of the album, kind of my patience and all of that, kind of slowly wears, right? Because
Okay.
I feel like, and again, I'm putting it in context to the rest of the songs which I've rated also. So I still feel this is a A for me.
Okay. All right.
Anurag?
Cool.
Yeah,
Anurag?
I agree. It's still an A for me also, even though, like you said, like I feel like at this point, any listener's patience would get tested, and that's pretty much the point of Tool anyway. That they are trying to piss you off at the same time as they're trying to draw you in, and like it's literally there in everything they do, from the fact that the name of the band is Tool, so
Okay.
that way, like Swan Song is still like for me, like even though you said that you would love to hear like Chris Cornell on it and things, like I feel like it's such a quintessential Tool song in the way that it's a little unpredictable that way. Like it's a little bit of a curveball in the album, and I think it would be, if you heard Tool's entire discography, it would be quite a big curveball, and I think anybody who'd hear it would be like, okay, this doesn't sound like new Tool. It definitely sounds like
definitely
old
not
Tool.
new
Yeah.
Tool. It's definitely not Tool.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was the draw in that which
Okay.
drew me in. So yeah, definitely an E from me.
Alrighty, cool. Let's move on to song number 7, Undertow. I love the energy in this song. So for me, it automatically brought back the thing that I was missing from Crawl Away and Song. So I've rated this an A. What about you guys?
Same. And
Yeah.
again, I think by
So
now
it gets back
everyone,
to an A. Yeah.
I think by now everyone has sensed the pattern. Is I prefer the aggressive, more like confrontational, aggressive part of Tool as opposed to the middly, like, okay, what's happening?
Yeah, the meandering.
The meandering part. Like, okay, like this is where again now you have you can literally go 15 seconds ahead on whatever, or 10 seconds ahead. I mean, which comes very handy towards the end of the album. I must
Surely.
say. But like imagine like listening to it on your cassette or your CD. You're just like,
Oh fuck yeah. Yeah. I think we'll all be discussing that when we reach Disgustipated in any case.
100%.
Right? But okay, so wait. So Undertow for you is an A,
Yeah.
right? Okay, Anurag, round this one off.
Yeah, it's an A from me as well. I think in terms of like, even if you see it in terms of being the title track to a record, like as we found out later on, like how much title tracks mean to Tool. Like I feel like compared to that, like this one actually, like compared to all other title tracks, this one definitely rates a little bit lower. But in the context of this album, it sounds. It seems to be given the as much importance as anything, and that way, like, yeah, it's an A from me.
Alrighty, cool. Still going strong. So let's bring up track number 8, song number 8, 4 Degrees. 6 minutes long. Begins with that weird ass Indian sounding instrument thingy, whatever that, like, yeah.
Is there a theory on what happened?
I'm sure there was, and I was reading Maynard's book, Perfect Union of Contrary Things. Like I've read it a while ago, and obviously, like some of the things they talk about is, I mean, they talk about his whole life, but also about what was going on in Tool, like during this time. And it feels like, yeah, they were just doing it in a very hippie way, like they were doing like whatever the heck they wanted. So I think this definitely like a byproduct of that. And
Seems like it.
yeah, and I feel like what you were saying about maybe like even labels and things, right? Like they were on a label by now. I think it was Zoom.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think like they pretty much had like the carte blanche to do whatever they wanted. I mean, even in terms of artwork and thing, we all know like what that was like. So
Yeah.
I feel like this one plays into the visual side almost, like in a way that that you maybe want to know like what's going on, maybe what would accompany this. Like you almost see it like hear it visually, if I could say
It kind of gives you a glimpse into what Tool is capable of and shows you a side of the future. Like if you look at it in that perspective, right, put it in the context of the discography, which ultimately is what we have been hearing now. It makes sense.
Yeah.
On the album, like if this was the first ever album and you're just getting into Tool, I'm a bit shaky on that. Okay, so wait, Anurag, what's your grade for 4 Degrees?
It's still A. Yes.
Okay, for me it's a B plus.
Okay.
Peter?
and now Animesh and I agree. Because
Oh.
I'm like okay-ish with this track, honestly, right? Like, I mean, like, when I'm looking at my notes, I'm like, I felt it dragged longer than it should have, which is very strange because that's how I feel about a lot of like more recent Tool material. But
Okay,
yeah,
That's
we've had this discussion.
we've had this chat. This is
So for me,
that's
it's
so different now. Yeah.
B plus.
Okay, cool. Alrighty, so let's move into track number 9, the penultimate, actually not the penultimate technically, but the penultimate song of this album, which is Flood, 7 minutes 48 seconds. I miss the feel. Like the 2-word description of this song, which I've written in my notes, is feel kahan gaya. Feel kahan hai.
I mean, at this
That's
point,
3 words, Animesh.
Yeah, so I've written feel chahiye, but feel chahiye is like feel kahan gaya is what I'm actually trying to express. Where's the feel gone? Right? And yeah,
I mean,
Indian metalheads will get what feel is.
I mean, like at this point, it's that this is what I was alluding to earlier, right? Because the track starts and you're like, okay, chalo, okay. And again, if I cut it half in length or so, then I'd be like, it's an A. But I'm like, why did I have to deal with this? I mean, I still haven't addressed the annoyance that comes later.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. If the objective was to like elongate the duration of this album so that you reach track 69 by the end of it, this song could have been edited and you could have added more bonus tracks, more like hidden tracks, whatever. So I'm for me it's a B. Peter, it's a B. Okay.
Yeah, it's a B from me too, mostly because
finally we
like,
all agree.
I think
B.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's because like I
Get
guess,
ready to get slammed by Tool.
but it is where like Tool really tests you in the way
Yeah.
like it's not about like as if you come out of it and be like, no, I still love you, Tool. Like you get out of it, be like, what the fuck was this Tool?
Yeah.
So I think that was on this. I think Flood is one of those
Okay,
tracks.
cool. Then tracks number 10 through 68 are just silence, which then brings us the longest song on this album, technically 15 minutes 47 seconds, Disgustipated, listed as track number 69. If you were to play it on old school players, if you play it digitally, it'd still be only track 10. The first I didn't know, the first time I heard this album was on my Discman, and genuinely I was waiting for, I thought the album was over, but I still see the thing spinning. So I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And then this track starts and it's eerie as fuck. And it's so ambient and it's so wonderful that I'm expecting it to be like, holy shit. Like if I were to compare this to say a Rosetta Stoned, it would be perfect, but it's not like a Rosetta Stoned. Very little element of song as such over here. But I guess this was necessary.
This is the feel, Animesh.
Like, you made it till now. This is what you came for.
Yeah, it's a B.
I mean, are we even? My question to both of you is going to be: are we even rating this track?
You have to, right? You spend time on it. You've heard it.
Is it the longest Tool track, by the way? Like that
15
they've
minutes.
ever made?
I mean, yeah, it is.
I think Third Eye is
It
less
is.
than this, no? I think so.
Prying open your third eye. I'm quickly checking. It is. Yeah, third eye is 13 minutes 47 seconds. Yeah.
But what are we rating here? The piano, how it got like.
You're rating
You're
it.
rating this is necessary. Life
Feeds on
feeds
life.
on life.
Feeds on life.
But I enjoy that vocal part. That's like it's stuck.
It's the highlight.
Yeah, it's the highlight. It's the highlight. So completely, for me, it's a B minus
Huh,
piece
I mean,
of music, I
yeah.
guess. Are you okay with that? Are you guys on board? What are you guys
I mean,
grading?
we've anyway like decided it's not. So is this deciding? This is not the
It's
deciding
ambient.
track.
Is it? Yeah. Okay, cool. So B's all across?
Well, no, it's
wait.
still an A from me because
Why is it an A from you?
it's because like what I was saying about like what the fuck is this Tool?
Huh.
Like this was in a good way. Like what the fuck is this Tool? Because I honestly felt like it was finally Tool being peak Tool in that way.
If Flood didn't exist and we instead only got Disgusticated, I think I would
Sure.
have. I think it would have worked better for me.
Sure, yeah, 100%. Like I think there's those kind of things also. But yeah, I just feel like the way it was structured and just the way that it hits you when you least expect it or when you want it.
Do we need to be in a particular mental state to understand Disgusticated?
So wait. I have
Those are exactly the kind of questions Tool wants you to ask.
hang on. So I have a parallel story to this, and follow me for a couple of minutes. So there's a band called Cephalic Carnage.
Yeah.
Okay, and they play like grindcore or whatever,
Yeah.
power violin kind of music. But they had an album where the last track
Huh?
was very similar to this, and I was listening to it on my CD player, and I fell asleep.
And then this has
And
happened to me
the
with
song
Disgusticated.
literally is
Yeah.
the last minute or so. All they're doing is kill for metal. That's all they're saying. And I woke up. I remember listening to that, and I'm like, "What the fuck did I?"
You've been
hear? So
indoctrinated, my friend.
again, you have to go back and see like what the hell, right? And I feel if you're in that zone listening to this, then you're like exactly what Anurag's saying. Like,
Okay.
Tool is like mission accomplished, motherfucker.
Maybe.
Yeah, subliminal.
Subliminal. Okay, cool. So those were the songs. Unfortunately, Tool's Undertow, based on the songs itself, is not an all A's album because we all collectively thought that Flood was a B. Okay, quickly just summing up 3 other points production wise. How would you grade this? I'm grading this a B. It doesn't sound as good as other albums in this era sounded, and especially in this sound. So it's a bit muddy all over.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not that anal about it. For me, this is an A.
Yeah,
Okay.
this production was still an A because it matched up with I think their intensity.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Artwork. And
Which
everything that you know about artwork for Undertow, for me, it's an A+. I think that's where
Yeah.
It's
Tool were
beautiful.
allowed to be Tool. And
and also-
if you guys don't know what we're talking about, read up about it. The internet's filled with, like, the Wikipedia entry about Undertow has more about artwork than it has about the music. And there's a reason for that, so go and check it out.
Yeah.
They really knew how to run the campaign. Huh?
Yeah,
Even
they
back
really
then.
know how to run the campaign. So
I mean,
A+ throughout.
A+, yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Do
is
your
like-
CDs have the cow or
No.
No,
Mine-
right?
has a
Yeah,
pig.
even mine doesn't.
Yeah. And guys, I bought it in the Middle East, so obviously, like,
Do your CDs have the barcode thing?
No. Mine
Yeah,
has the
even
normal.
mine is just the
Yeah.
the normal one, because even I bought it in India. Anyways, last count as an album, or the legacy of this album, or how it comes in Tool's discography, etc., context, all of that jazz, summing it down to one grade. If you were to rate this as an album outside of the songs that we've rated individually, is it an A? Is it a B? How
I'd
do
say
you
an
place
A.
it in Tool's
It's still an
discography,
A because
legacy, all of that
yeah, I
jazz?
feel like it's still an A because it's not the starter Tool album, but it's the album that you should still listen to.
Yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
I mean, like, it's strange, right? For me, the reason I bought it, or even Undertow came like on my radar, is because I bought it at that CD store all those years ago, right? But I feel like progressively, that's how you should be introduced to a band, right? Like
Okay.
going in, they're not just from the latest album. And I can't remember for the life of me which album they were doing then, because it was that long ago.
Okay, so an A for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an A for me too. It's not the album that I revisit often. Definitely not. It's not the album that that I would want to come back and listen to again. But if you think of yourself as a Tool fan, or if you'd like to get familiar with the music, definitely do check it out. Maybe not as influential. I don't think it's the most influential Tool album by any long shot. Also, Tool has changed so much from this album that it definitely doesn't, even in today's time, if you say you're a Tool fan, it doesn't give you the connotation of what Undertow
100%.
is. Right?
100%.
But still, is it a strong album from the 90s in that particular year? Yes, it
Yeah.
is. It's much better than any other music that came out in that
I mean,
year.
like, just to add to what you're saying, maybe I would counter saying it's not influential, because Anurag and I have been discussing this lately. I'm sure at least a couple of songs has been played by some of these Tool tribute bands.
Oh, of
that are
course.
like till date, and we're
Of
talking
course,
like
of
so
course.
many
So
years
you
later.
cannot have a Tool hits whatever,
Yeah.
whether it be a playlist or a gig or a tribute, etc., without playing sober.
Yeah. So for sure, those songs are there, and so that's why I feel it still stands. I mean, wait, what is the name of the tribute band?
Yeah,
Time
Third Eye,
Throttle.
no? Wasn't
Time.
it Third? Tribal.
Time Throttle.
Time Throttle.
Throttle.
Third Eye.
Yes.
And of
Sorry,
course,
it
Eggless
begins with a
Cupcake.
T.
Oh yes, of course.
Okay, cool. So, as an album, A, but if you go into it with songs, I'm sorry guys, it's not an all A's album. That was Tool's Undertow, not an all A's album. Don't kill us, especially Tool fans. We've provided you the reasoning. Please listen to it with an analytical mind, spiral out, keep going, all of that jazz. Then come back and tell us that we were still wrong. Because you want to do that. Reach out to us, honsapod.com, or on Twitter at honsapod. I'm on Twitter at Asmoani.
I'm a Trend Crusher.
Anurag Tagat.
He's
Oh,
also
yeah.
on Instagram now, guys.
We've been saying that.
I'm also
we've been-
on
yeah.
Threads now.
Oh, you're on.
Oh, you're on Threads?
Damn.
Yeah, I don't have an Instagram, so I'm not on Threads. Anyways, on up.
Hands up, guys.
Arms up.